I'm terrified of the ocean. And the next item that I'm going to be crossing off of my adventure bucket list is scuba diving. Now I know what you're thinking. I know exactly what you're thinking. Hayden, if you're afraid of the ocean, how are you gonna go and dive in the ocean? I have no idea. And I just wanna share a few of my fears. I'm gonna share a few of my fears, a few of my experiences that I've had with being in the ocean and being near death. Something that I've been always wanting to do for the past couple years is go on more adventures, right? And I did a lot. I bought paddle boards. I'd never been paddleboarding before, and I went paddleboarding all summer. I went on boats, I went adventuring, and I have this really exciting trip coming up that is gonna be the first time that I've been doing something this huge since ever. So that's going to be really exciting. That's coming soon. But one of the big aspects of it is that while I'm there at the destination, I'm going to be going scuba diving, which means I need to get my scuba diving certification. And my boyfriend loves the ocean. He loves snorkeling. He's been to Hawaii and he talks about wanting to live there. He'd be fine just living on the beach. I love the water. I live in Seattle, Washington. I'm looking at the beautiful Puget Sound right now, right outside my window. And I love living here. I love rain. I love being in a pool. I've swam my whole life. But there's just something about when I'm in the ocean or in a lake and I just get this super eerie feeling. You know how sometimes when you turn the light off and you go to jump into bed and you get like the heebie-jeebies while you're like getting back into bed and all of a sudden it's like speed beast mode and you're like, you know? Well, I feel that every single time that I'm in the ocean or in a lake with not being able to see the bottom. Put me in a pool, I'll play mermaids all day long. All day long. But if you put me into a lake or the ocean, it's a completely different story. For example, a few years ago, I went fishing on this cliffside of a dam that's in northern Utah with my boyfriend and my dog. And we're sitting there having a grand old time, not catching any fish, listening to some music. That's probably why we weren't catching any fish. And the bait falls in the water. So I think to myself, okay, I'll go get it. Easy peasy. I walk around the side to where you can go down this little cliffside to get to the shoreline that was rocky, and there was this big rock that I planned to jump to reach in and grab the bait. While I'm climbing down, I turn around and I feel like beast mode. Totally. I felt so cool climbing down this like cliff all by myself. Get on the rock, turn around, grab the bait, pick it up, is what I hear in my ears. I think to myself, my soul came out of my body, my heart dropped to the floor, and I thought to myself, today is the day that I die. I know that sound, right? I grew up in Nevada, northern Nevada. I know what it looks like and I know what it sounds like. So when I turn around to the cliff and I see that there are about 4 just slithering through the cliffside, I think to myself, oh my gosh, rattlesnakes. And you know, the best part about it was that my boyfriend isn't afraid of anything except for snakes. The one thing that he won't mess around with, won't play with, won't take any part of is everything that has to do with snakes. So it's my total lucky day that the Prince Charming, who's supposed to be able to come and rescue me, doesn't like the demonic little thingies that are after me. So I call his name and I'm like, hi. And like, there are snakes here. And he goes, okay, takes a huge step back. I'm thinking to myself, aren't you supposed to come down and pull me back up? But no, he takes a huge step back. Then he comes around and he goes, okay, go into the water, swim around to the other side, and I'll help you get up. I'm thinking to myself, okay, so I turn around and I look at the water and it's a little bit windy, so there are some ripples. I can see some rocks. I see a bunch of pokey sticks and I go, okay, I'm not going to cannonball. And so I try to like do like a little swan stretch dive from my Olympic swimmer experience capabilities from growing up, and now I'm in the water. I can tread water easily. I'm sitting there looking up at him at the big old cliff rock, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, now I gotta swim over there. And all of a sudden, I'm choking on water, and I'm now, at first I was treading water just fine, no problems. But now I'm sitting there and my face is barely above the water. And my boyfriend is freaking out because he knows that I'm a good swimmer. He knows that the only reason that I'm struggling right now is because I'm freaking out and having this panic attack. So he keeps telling me, snakes don't swim underwater, they swim on top of the water. So you'd be able to see it coming in your direction. Well, then I feel something touch my foot. I wasn't that far away from the shore, but something tried to grab my big toe. So I booked it. I booked it into shore. I'm scratching my knees and my hands on the rocks and the twigs as I get in, and I get up and I go and I sprint, and then we left. And we never went back. And that's just one of my many experiences where I've had where I have 100% forgotten about my swimming capabilities because of fear. And is that just me? Am I the only one who has those experiences in the lake like I talked about, where it was just this freak thing that happened and I instantly started putting my life in risk and danger because of the anxiety and because of the, you know, the snakes and all of that were freaking me out? Or is that just me? What kinds of stories do you guys have? Share them in the comments of exciting things that have happened to you while you've been in the lake or the ocean, or weird experiences. Do I think that I'm gonna be that lucky and be that one human that goes diving for the very first time and gets killed by an orca? No. But is it possible? Yes, very much so. Very much so. Another thing that kind of scares me about diving, and I don't know if a lot of people have a similar experience or a similar fear to me, is that not only are there orcas out there, but I mean, what is it, 71% of our beautiful, beautiful earth is water, and we know more, I'm pretty sure we know more about space than we do about the ocean, and I don't know the exact percentage of how much of the ocean has been explored, but I'm pretty positive that we haven't gone all the way down and we haven't explored all of it, which means that there could be things down there that we have no idea of. There could be things in lakes that we have no idea of. And every time that I'm in a lake, when I was paddleboarding, for example, in Lake Sammamish, and I'm paddleboarding on a really hot day, there's a huge heat wave this summer, absolutely crazy. I jump in the water for a little dip in the pool and I'm swimming around, and I have to consciously remind myself that if I get pulled under, it's my time to die. It's so illogical. It doesn't make any sense. But I'll be floating there with a life vest on or without a life vest on, and I feel the pressure on my heart. So I'm like, it's okay, calm down. And I'm really scared that when we go under, that it's going to be so cold and I'm going to be so freaked out about it that I'm not going to be able to calm myself down and I'll have a panic attack. I'm not somebody who has a lot of panic attacks, but I will tell you something that I'm really nervous about, between you and me, is that generally when you go diving, you go where it's really warm, like in the Pacific Ocean, like in Hawaii, or in Mexico. Mexico's a huge one. And I live in Seattle, which I say so often, but I just really need to hit home with the fact that the water up here is cold. It is so cold. I'm pretty sure if you were in it for longer than, what is it, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you could die from hypothermia. I'm pretty sure it's less than that. But let's just for the sake say it's 10 minutes. If I go diving in Elliott Bay in the Puget Sound, it's going to take me like 10 minutes to get 20 meters down because you have to equalize the pressure. And if I'm in a wetsuit, will that protect me enough from hypothermia? Am I going to lose my fingers and toes? So there are a lot of risks that you have to take into consideration, right? There are so many so many waivers that you have to sign away, you know? There are a lot of things that could go wrong. I'm so excited about it, don't get me wrong, but I think that it's really going to be interesting to see how this journey goes, and why I'm so excited that I get to take you and bring you along for the journey, because I am going to go get fitted, I'm going to go get gear, I'm going to go, they have the pool days, and I know that I'm going to pass the pool requirements because, like I said, I've been swimming my whole life, right, competitively in pools in the backyard. We went boating and tubing all the time on the lake, so I know that that's not going to be a problem. But I am really interested to share my experience with you guys because this is something that I have on my adventure bucket list. I have this list of items, you know, go to different national parks, go to different states, go to different countries, and this is one of the items that is going to be one of the first that I'm able to check off. So I'm really determined to be successful with it. I'm really excited to share with you guys, and I'm so excited about everything apparently in my life, to share with you guys the journey of getting certified, of checking that item off my bucket list. It's a huge thing, and I feel like so many different videos will show you the basics and they'll show you what it looks like to be certified, but you guys are going to be able to experience with me firsthand, and it's going to be such an amazing journey. And you know, life, it's a journey of chutes and ladders, and this adventure bucket list that I'm starting and sharing things that happen in my life, what it's like to live in Seattle, what my goals are for the future, and I can't wait for you guys to tag along for the journey. See you next time.